The WWE is currently in an era where it is peaking, and the era is called the Renaissance era. At least that's what a lot of people are calling it, and now it's kind of stuck to me, so I'm calling it the Renaissance era. But a lot of people are saying that Roman Reigns is the main catalyst for this era. No, I have no issues with that. I do think there is someone who has as much impact as Roman Reigns in this era, if not more impact, and I think that guy is Cody Rhodes. But before we get into the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would actually follow me over on all my socials at Rod Hardy, over on X, Twitch, and Instagram. Like I said, at Rod Hardy. And I'm going to also be putting down in the link in the description, I'm going to be putting down a Discord server because I'm a part of a podcast called the BTBC, also known as Bad Takes Better Conversations. We stream every Sunday night over here on YouTube. I'm going to also put the link to the YouTube channel where we stream at down in the description. But if you want to join our Discord server, it is a very community-friendly server. So if you want to come, talk wrestling, talk sports, basically talk whatever, we go in the lounge in VC and we share wrestling matches every night. We share movies sometimes a couple of times a week. So if you want to come in and just be a part of a community-friendly server, then I invite you to come in and have a great time. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So Cody Rhodes, he's like one of the main catalysts of this era. I'm going to say it like this. Like, we have to start back in 2020, okay? Let's go back to 2020 because this is when Roman Reigns started his, kind of reign and started this whole bloodline story as we know it today. Roman Reigns came back in SummerSlam of 2020 and he held the title for over 4 years up until this year at WrestleMania 40 where he lost to Cody Rhodes. Now, Roman Reigns was carrying the WWE for 2020, 2021, and 2022, right? But a portion of 2022 up until WrestleMania 38 where Cody Rhodes came back. Now, the Renaissance era, I truly believe, started the night that Cody Rhodes came back to the WWE. And here is why. If we look at eras across the WWE, right? We got the golden era, we got the attitude era, we got the PG era. A lot of people like to call the era in between the PG and the Renaissance era kind of like the reality era, although I'm not sure if that's a valid name to really use. I'm going to call it the reality era, and that would be kind of like, the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and AJ Styles era where it was like SmackDown Live, and it was like 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, so on and so forth, right? Okay, cool. And then we got the pandemic era, which is like 2020 to, 2021, whatever. Okay, cool. In every era that we've had, at least the major eras, let's talk about the golden, the attitude, the ruthless aggression, and the PG era, right? And let's even talk about the reality era, because I think this one is, like I said, also very much important. In the golden era, we had Hulk Hogan, right? This is the guy, top of the mountain. Okay, cool, right? He always had a 1B, and that 1B was Ultimate Warrior. Now, Hogan was the baby face amongst all baby faces. Like, his impact was absolutely insane. The Rock had Austin. These two guys swapped between babyface and heels, and they did phenomenal jobs both areas. But I think their babyface runs are what really made them into what they were. If we look at the PG era and the ruthless aggression era, John Cena was at the top all the time. John Cena is really the guy that for 2 eras, he was taking charge, and he was the guy. And obviously he had guys like Randy Orton step in and Batista step in and CM Punk. But in all reality, CM Punk was that guy. We look at the reality era, Roman Reigns had Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns was the quote-unquote babyface, although a lot of people didn't really like him, but he was the quote-unquote babyface. And then Seth Rollins would kind of play the heel, while also he would swap between babyface and stuff. But Roman Reigns was never a heel, and I think that was a lot of people's problems because he was getting shoved down people's throats, and people just didn't like it, man. Like, they wanted him to turn heel, and he never turned heel. But if we look at this era, we're looking at Cody Rhodes being kind of the 1B to Roman Reigns 1A. But is he really a 1B? Like, this is something that is really a topic of discussion because Cody Rhodes, right, when he came back, what a coincidence that Roman Reigns started taking time off. I think there was a reason behind this, and obviously a lot of people will say the leukemia, And while that is a factor, I think that the WWE, when they brought back Cody Rhodes, they truly found their guy, their next John Cena. Because this is a guy who was really successful on the indies with the American Nightmare character, and he had told WWE he was not going to come over unless that American Nightmare character came with him to WWE. It came to WWE. A lot of people, they knew him as Cody Rhodes, but they knew him as dashing or undashing Cody Rhodes. They didn't know this side of Cody Rhodes, which was the American Nightmare. And this is where they were going to get a treat. Off the rip, Cody Rhodes was involved in a trilogy with Seth Rollins that was peak. Like, when I tell you this was peak, this was really peak. First match, obviously, WrestleMania 38, where I believe the Renaissance era started. The next match was over on Backlash. And every wrestler has their defining moment. Now, you could say that Cody Rhodes' defining moment was the "We Want Cody" movement. And I'm not going to lie, you could argue that. But Cody Rhodes' defining moment was Hell in a Cell 2022, where he went against Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. And he had a torn pec, man. And he went in there, put on a 5-star classic. Like, this is a guy who, with a torn pec, one arm, did a 5-star classic. This was Game 6 LeBron. This was literally flu game Michael Jordan. Like, that is the defining moment for Cody Rhodes. From that moment forward, Cody Rhodes took on a whole nother, like, this guy was literally ascending up the stratosphere. And then this is where things got good, because he returned at the Rumble in 2023. He won the Rumble. And from that point on, people started doing the whoa to his, like, song, the whoa. And, like, he started to get insanely over. People were starting to sing his theme song, and he started to get insanely over. We got up to WrestleMania. People really were clamoring for him to win the world title, because this is a guy who they saw was at the top of the mountain. Like, this was the guy that they saw dethroning Roman Reigns. Unfortunately, he did not dethrone Roman Reigns that year. Now, if you thought 2022, which obviously was great for Cody Rhodes, even though he missed a large portion of it due to the injury, 2023 is a great year and a defining year for Cody Rhodes. For the simple fact that this is a guy who, for the majority of 2023, didn't really have another major star like a Roman Reigns. You can say Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, but Cody Rhodes was at the top of the mountain, and there wasn't a 1B to be next to him. If anything, there was a 1A, and then whoever else was at number 2 was all the way down here. Cody Rhodes was single-handedly carrying WWE for all of 2023, single-handedly by himself, putting on banger matches, banger storylines. And not only that, Cody Rhodes was bringing in ticket sales. Like, he was bringing in people, and he didn't really need Roman Reigns to do that. This is when I think I knew that Cody Rhodes was truly a legitimate star, because live events were getting super packed because they wanted to see Cody Rhodes. We're talking 7,000 tickets sold just because of Cody Rhodes. Everybody wanted to see Cody Rhodes. This is, like, quite literally the quintessential babyface right here. In every era, we've seen that the babyfaces have dominated their eras depending on how you deal your cards, because if you deal your cards correctly, you can be at the literal top of the mountain, and that is what Cody Rhodes did. Cody Rhodes only got hotter as the months went on. He got into a feud with Brock Lesnar. He got into a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. He got into a feud with the Judgment Day. These feuds were literally setting him up to go up against Roman Reigns and be at the peak of his powers in terms of star power. Now, before we get to the Royal Rumble and anything that happened up until WrestleMania 40, we have to talk about one specific moment in time, and it was on an episode of SmackDown. I believe it was in October, and I think you guys are going to remember this because it was the legendary face-off between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Mind you, these are two guys who literally for the last 6 or 7 months were not even seen on screen with each other, literally since the Raw after Mania. And I'm surprised WWE was even able to keep them off screen together for that long. And this face-off on that October episode of SmackDown, I'm telling you right now, that right there was the indicator that told me this match has to happen. The sequel needs to happen at WrestleMania 40, and Cody Rhodes needs to finish his story. Now, as we get closer to the new year, The Rock starts looming in the shadows. And this is where things get really dicey because I am a massive Cody Rhodes fan. And I think a lot of people who are massive Cody Rhodes fans, they got really worried because The Rock and Roman Reigns is a money match. This is a match that needs to happen. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that they were going to push off Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns to the side just so that they can do Rock and Roman because The Rock wasn't able to fulfill obligations for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, which would have been a picture-perfect match. Instead, The Rock was going to potentially face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 for the Undisputed title. Now, we get into the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble, and we think that he's actually going to challenge Roman Reigns. But on an episode of SmackDown, we see that Cody Rhodes steps to the side and says, I do not want your title now. I will get it later. And then comes out The Rock, and I cannot tell you, I was so heartbroken. I think every Cody fan can be heartbroken. And I'm not going to lie, this was a very sad moment for me. I was super pissed, and The Rock was going to take Cody Rhodes' spot. But here's the thing. This is when I truly knew that this was Cody Rhodes' era. The We Want Cody movement started. People who were non-believers in Cody Rhodes started to become believers in Cody Rhodes. Now, I don't think we've ever seen this. We've never seen anybody get cheered over The Rock. I'll tell you right now, The Rock is a very likable person. It is very hard for somebody to get cheered over him. And this right here, this is how we knew that The Rock was like literally second fiddle to Cody Rhodes. Well, I don't want to say second fiddle. I want to say that Cody Rhodes was literally like this big star in the making. And I think by this point he was already a major star. But I'm not going to lie, man. Cody Rhodes was aiming for the top of the mountain. So we started to get this We Want Cody movement, and it got stronger every week. As the weeks went on, it kept going. It kept going. The crowds got louder for Cody Rhodes up until he actually did end up getting his match. But even then, the crowd got louder for Cody Rhodes. I think people knew that we were on the precipice of something great. And we got to WrestleMania after, oh my gosh, that January to April portion of WWE felt like peak WWE because they were booking this storyline so well. And I really thank The Rock for it because he was such a big part in making the storyline what it was. I thought Roman Reigns literally had like kind of a little bit of a backseat, and it was more of a Rock and Cody type of thing. But we got to WrestleMania, and obviously we know the story that the first night it was going to be a tag team match. If Rock and Roman Reigns win, it's a Bloodline Rules match. If Seth and Cody win, then no Bloodline allowed on night 2 for the main event of Cody and Roman. Obviously the Bloodline ended up winning night 1, so it was a Bloodline Rules night 2. We had all the shenanigans, Undertaker, John Cena, and all of them coming out. John Cena did phenomenal. Undertaker did phenomenal. Jey Uso did phenomenal. Everybody in that match did phenomenal. And Cody Rhodes ended up finishing his story. Now, I want to take you back a little bit because this is the reason why I do think that Cody Rhodes is the main catalyst into why the Renaissance era is what it is. And it's simply because Cody Rhodes has the moments to supply himself as to him being the main catalyst in this. Come on now, like we have the Porn Pack moment, we have the We Want Cody movement, and not only that, this is the guy for a year through pay-per-views, through live events, and through weekly shows. This is the guy who was putting butts in seats. He was selling a whole lot of merch, and he would stay after events and he would take pictures with people. He would sign autographs. This was literally the quintessential babyface. He was that guy, and I don't think anybody was going to take it away from him. Like, the WWE literally found their next John Cena, and it was something that they were trying to find for a very long time. They tried it with Roman Reigns, they tried it with Seth Rollins, and eventually came around Cody Rhodes. And like I said, WrestleMania 38 was the night that the Renaissance era started, because I truly believe that from that moment forward, Cody Rhodes came in and started to bring in a lot of people from other areas of the world, because he was a big indie wrestler. People who watched indies, started watching the WWE again simply because of Cody Rhodes. And not only that, but then he had the hardcore fans. He had literally like the fans who don't watch all the time, the casuals. He had them wanting to watch because they knew that this was the guy that they were going to get to see every week and not Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was not there all the time, and Cody Rhodes was able to carry the WWE without him for a whole year. Like, Roman Reigns would show up here and there. He'd have his great feuds, his great storylines. I'm not going to lie, the Bloodline storyline is the greatest storyline in the history of the WWE. But if you're going to tell me that Roman Reigns was the biggest catalyst, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give that to Cody Rhodes, because day in and day out for 365 days plus, Cody Rhodes would show up to work and he would put butts in seats and literally sell out events by himself. I'm not going to say it now. Okay, by himself sounds really crazy because obviously there's a whole roster. But this was the guy, man. If you take Cody Rhodes away from this era, it would be really hard to tell me, like, who's going to beat Roman Reigns. Now, obviously, they could build up just about anybody, but it would be very hard for you to tell me that Roman Reigns was going to lose. And then Cody Rhodes comes in, and it's like the WWE had so much faith in him that they let him go out there by himself. They pulled Roman Reigns back, and they were like, you got this. We're going to hand you the keys, and we're going to let you take off with it. Eventually, it paid off because he ended up finishing his story, and now he's at the top of the mountain. And I'm not going to lie, there's probably not a single person that's going to take him off the mountain for a very long time. I think The Rock might take him off the mountain, probably like Rumble, Mania season or whatever. But Cody Rhodes is the guy. He has been the guy since he came into the WWE back at WrestleMania 38. And they've trusted him with the keys, and he's done exceptionally well, putting on banger feuds, putting on banger matches, being able to sustain the popularity even through all the ups and downs. This is the guy. This is their next John Cena, who's going to carry them for probably the next 5 to 6 to 7 years. We're going to see how long he does it. But people tried to tell me that he was going to get booed after his WrestleMania 39 loss. People thought he was going to lose steam. If anything, he gained so much more steam because he is just such a good babyface. And for those people telling me that he should turn heel, that's not happening anytime soon. And I don't believe he should turn heel anytime soon. So with that being said, that is kind of the reason why I have Cody Rhodes as the main catalyst for the Renaissance era. If you guys watch this video in its entirety, I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys follow me on all my socials at Rod Hardy on everything, and I will catch you guys in the next video. But like I said, down in the link in the description, I have everything down there. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.